Welcome to Demo 5 on Automatic Train Control version 2 on any EEP layout using Lua. This is the layout I actually had in reality as a model railway layout in my home. And now we have it in EEP. 7 trains are driving around on, I think, 27 blocks. Let's have a look how we can configure the Lua code to make this drive safe. This is the bird's eye view of the layout. Let's first have a look what traffic we would like to create. Let's look at this railway station over here. We see 2 tracks, and that is the tracks of what, let's call it the counterclockwise trains. 2 trains are going to drive on this counterclockwise route. Then the next 2 tracks are the clockwise route, and they follow the complete loop and then end up here at the railway station again. Then we have a whole lot of dead-end tracks, 3 over here and 2 over here, 2 here and 2 there. And all of those are used by 4 cargo trains that shuttle around in all kinds of ways. I mean, this cargo train could start here, then it could go there. From here it can go back and end up over here. Or it can also make a complete round and end up over there. All these possibilities are built into this small layout, and it's all a matter of creating our Lua tables to decide which trains can go where, and that's all that we need to do to allow this traffic. Or I should say, to create this traffic. So let's have a look at the Lua tables. First let's have a look at the 2D view. Here it is, the 2D view, and the first step to take when you have created the layout in tracks is to decide where we want to have the blocks. And the blocks are the places where a train can stop, and it is stopped by a signal. Well, let's do an example. We have here this railway station, and of course we want the train to stop at the station, so we have a signal over here, and then this is the block. And then if we leave the station, then we have a signal over here where the train can be halted in case this turnout is allocated to another train. The train here has to stop. If we are allowed to drive on, then we get a signal over here. The same reason, there are turnouts here, and maybe we have to stop if there is other traffic. If we drive on, we cannot see what's happening here. If we drive on, then we have a signal over here. That is to protect this turnout. And this is a single track, but the trains can drive both ways, which is why there is a signal at both ends of this track. And so we drive on, we come across this signal that protects these turnouts over here, and then in the same fashion we drive on. There's a long piece of track over here. There's the signal that allows the train into the railway station. Or the train can follow another path, this second track over here, and then it is going to drive into track 2 of the station. Well, this is the fashion in which you create your blocks. It is just a creative process. You have to make the decisions yourself. Where do I want to have blocks, and what is needed to get smooth traffic? Let's go to the Lua tables now. This is the code, the Lua opened in Notepad++. As always, we have a main signal. In this layout it is number 80. That can happen. And as always, we have our block signals table, where all we do is simply mention the numbers of all the block signals that we have. This table is not mandatory, you can leave it away, but it helps if you create this table. It helps because Lua can perform some consistency checks when you create your routes. If you forget a block, then you get a warning, so it helps yourself to simply create this table. When we scroll further down, we start with the allowed blocks tables. And the first one, we have these counterclockwise trains. We have our station. At both tracks of the station, I want these trains to have a waiting time. In this case, we entered 45 seconds. And then we have the whole counterclockwise connection to return back to the station. And all those blocks, we do not have a waiting time, we just give it a waiting time of 1 second. I have no idea why these two are besides each other. Well, it shows that you can do it every way you like. In the same fashion, if we scroll further down, we have the allowed blocks for the clockwise traffic. At the station, we give it a waiting time again, 40 seconds and 30 seconds. And then we have all the blocks of the route that connects the station to the station itself. It's just a circle, so to speak. Scrolling further down, we get the shuttle trains. Yeah, it's just the name of the table. You can give these tables any name you like. That does not matter at all. Well, we have all the allowed blocks listed here with some command in between that can just make it easier for yourself to recognize which block numbers these are. You can use these commands or omit them, it doesn't matter, it's just your personal preference. If we scroll down, then we get our train table. And we have now 7 trains in here, and every train has a name. The name is given over here. Every train has a signal. And the signal is an on-off switch. You can switch the individual names on or off. And every train has its allowed blocks table. In this case, we have 2 trains that are running counterclockwise, we have 2 trains that are running clockwise, and we have 3, earlier I said 4, but we have 3 cargo trains running on these shuttle blocks. Then we have a couple of two-way blocks, and we need to tell Lua which ones those are. The first combination is 82 and 81. Well, let's have a look where that is. That is in this single track over here. This is block number or signal number 81, and this is signal number 82. So yeah, that's recognized. And then we have 2 more of those. Over here we have a track that is connected to these 3 dead ends. That's this track over here. That is also a two-way traffic track. And then we also have from the station counterclockwise traffic and clockwise traffic that is combined over here in this second outer corner, and that is also a two-way track. Well, I cannot really read the numbers, but I bet you will believe me that those numbers were 32 and 33 and 74 and 38. We just mentioned these pairs of the block signals of the dual tracks, the two-way block tracks. And then the main work on a larger layout like this is to have all your routes from block 19 to block 37. We have to put turnout 3 on vaart. This is something new that is in demo 5 used for the first time. You can specify a variable, in this case vaart, or in English that should be straight or main, and upzweig or turn. then you don't have to use the numbers 1 and 2, but you can use a letter that is maybe easier to understand. It's just a little trick. You can use it or not use it. Well, this list of routes is now a little bit longer, quite long actually. And this is the reason why, if you do create your blocks table, if you make a little mistake in one of these routes and you forget a block or you use a block number that does not exist, then you get a warning. So that is nice. Then there's one new thing introduced over here. That is the AntiDeadlock Path. Let's have a look what that means. Over here we have these 3 dead-end tracks, and well, when train starts to drive, it goes to this single track over here, and it follows this single track. And if it is a cargo shuttle train, its goal, its destination is one of these 2 dead-end tracks over here. Well, we have 3 trains that are running around on these tracks. So we could run into a situation where 2 tracks over here are already occupied, like coincidentally they right now are. And suppose that there is still a 3rd train over here that wants to go there. If we look only 1 block ahead, which we normally do, then it sees that this block is free, so it already drives over there. And there it has to stand still because both tracks here are occupied. But now we have a deadlock. No train can go anywhere anymore because these 2 trains, they are looking to go this way to one of those 3 dead-end tracks. But the middle track, the single track, is occupied, so none of them can move, and this train over here also cannot move. A classic deadlock. You want to prevent that, so if you have these potential deadlock situations in your layout, then all you have to do is specify, in this case, the 3 tracks where a train can come from. Specify the middle track. There can be more than 1. You can even have 2, 3 or 4 middle tracks. And then specify the 2, in this case 2, tracks where the train has to go to. And what Lua is going to do now that we have given it these AntiDeadlock table entries, a train that leaves from one of these blocks will only go into the middle block if one of the destination blocks is free. If there is no free block, the train will not start to drive, which means one of these 2 trains over here can now first drive to one of those 3 blocks. In this case we also mentioned the opposite one, but that is not needed because if you go from 2 to 3 and you have only 3 trains, as we have in this case, then that is not needed. But suppose that you have 4 trains, and you can simply put an extra train on this layout, then all 3 of these could be occupied already. So that is why you also need to have this line over here. But as long as we have only 3 trains, we could have left it out. Well, I hope this is a little bit a clear explanation. There is also a text in the user manual, so maybe it is a little bit better explained over there. Alright, then let's go to the code that is not needed to change, unless you would like to change one of the parameters. This code, just don't tinker with it, it can stay as it is. This piece of code you only have to change if you are using signals that have their states reversed. Sometimes that happens, and this is where you can have the solution to just change these numbers 1 and 2 around. But then we have a couple of parameters that we can set. This is the part of code I'm talking about. We can set a parameter for the log level. The log level is the table that shows the Lua output. Let's have a look at this. This is the window I'm talking about, all these messages that appear over here. We can set how many messages you want to get. You can even get no messages at all if you have tested everything and everything is working fine and you don't even have to see anything. You can put that whole window away. You can put it on 1, which means you get the normal amount of messages. Usually that's only a train is detected in this block or a train is going to leave to the next block. You can use full, which is a bit more messages for testing purposes. And you can even use extreme, which is again a bit more messages for testing purposes. I'm not going to show what these messages are, that will take too long, but just know that you have this opportunity to get a lot of messages so that you can read what is happening, and if something goes wrong, maybe you can figure out why it goes wrong. Then we have these tip text, or these little balloons, the text balloons. You can put it on true or false. If put on true, yeah, then you get these balloons, at least if you are in 3D mode. And they are going to be switched on. Yeah, they are switched on. These are the balloons we are talking about. If you don't want to see them at all, put that parameter on false. If you have put it on true, then you get them, but you can have a little trick. Click, shift click and shift click again on the main switch and they will go away. Then we have the start, true or false. Yes, that is this main switch. You can switch it on by default or you can have it off by default. It is just what you like to happen. And the same for the train switches. You can tell Lua to put them all on when the layout is started, or switch them off. These switches over here are the individual switches for the individual trains. You can start and stop every train on its own. And with this parameter you tell Lua what to do after startup. Alright, that was it. So yeah, what is there to do more? Not a lot of explaining. So just let's have a little look at yeah, a little bit of the traffic over here. Maybe we can have another camera view. I expect there are a couple here. There's another view and we get some other idea of what is happening. Let's have a minute of this traffic and then we will end this video. In the meantime, I wish you the best, and in the next video I'm not sure what the subject is going to be, but probably we will find something interesting to do. So maybe see you back there. In the meantime, have fun.